This is Dr. Herbert Harris, and this is Success Mentorship Class number 322. And our topic for today is straighten up and fly right. I'll say that again, straighten up and fly right. Of course, our topics are based on our book, The 12 Universal Laws of Success, and on so many of the conferences and conversations and interviews that we've had with many other people who have undertaken this journey to create the life of their dreams. I invite you to visit our website, herbertharris.com, and get a copy of our book, The 12 Universal Laws of Success, and also schedule a success consultation. You'll see a tab there that says book a call. Love to talk with you and see if we can help you achieve your goals. Also, we have some special information for you. We've been working on a new project called The Great Discovery. And if you want more information, go to my website, the number 12uls.net, the number 12uls.net, and click on it and get the information, and we'll send you a free 12 affirmations to live by poster and a powerful audio called Wealth Building in Trying Times. So before we get started, let us get centered on a point in consciousness where we will be open, receptive, and ready to learn. So let us just close our outer eyes, open our inner eyes, take a deep breath, and hold it. Let it out slowly. Take a deep breath and hold it. Let it out slowly. And in this space of peace and relaxation, I am at peace with myself. Let us affirm that together. I am at peace with myself. Once more. I am at peace with myself. Just let that peace sink in. Take a deep breath. Let it out slowly. And in this space of peace and relaxation, my mind is open, receptive, and ready to learn. Let us affirm that together. My mind is open, receptive, and ready to learn. Once more. My mind is open, receptive, and ready to learn. Take a deep breath. Let it out slowly. And so it is. Wow. Great group today. I love to open with a quote, and one of the quotes from one of my good friends and mentors, and a person who I've really, I think, has impacted many of our lives, the great Zig Ziglar. And Zig Ziglar said this. He said, "We cannot start over, but we can begin now and create a new ending. We cannot start over, but we can begin now and create a new ending." C.S. Lewis said something similar. He says, "You can't go back and change the beginning, but you can start where you are and change the ending." And I thought this quote was very apropos for right now, because so many of us, well, All of us, not so many of us, all of us are at the same point. All of us are at the last Saturday of the fourth month of the year. I love sharing, I call it the Herbie Harris calendar because it gives you a relative location of where you are on the year towards your dreams. So on the last Saturday of the fourth month means that we have 8 months left. In fact, we have 8 months and 4 days left to make this year your year for outrageous success. So, in that frame of mind, yeah, my dad used to always say this. He used to say, straighten up and fly right. That was his message to me after I told him some of my schemes. You know, as a child, I always had something I wanted to be, do, and have. I was either building something or selling something or trying to get people to join me in some particular endeavor. And I used to always, I would say to him, Dad, when my ship comes in, I'm going to do this. When my ship comes in, I'm going to do that. And he had a phrase. He said, well, Herbert, did you send your ship out? Oh, never thought about it like that. Did you send your ship out? His other phrase was, you better straighten up and fly right, boy. You better straighten up and fly right. If you're going to get anything in life, if you're going to be anything in life, you need to straighten up and fly right. And I often wonder where he got that. I did some research, and it turns out that that was a song written by Nat King Cole and Irving Mills in 1943. The song was Straighten Up and Fly Right. And it was really an allegory, but it was a powerful tune. Thanks, Dr. Rogers on Instagram. Yeah, it was a powerful tune. And it took Nat King Cole to the top of the charts and was probably one of the first really crossover records because it even went up on the pop charts. In those days, you had like a different chart for black music and white music, completely separate. But it was probably one of the first crossover songs. And it was a story of about a buzzard who this buzzard had a way of getting animals to eat. And what he would do, he would let the animals climb up on his back, and then he'd fly up and he'd say, I'll give you a flight and you can see the world. And then the buzzard would fly really, really high and then buck and turn around and start flying down really fast. And what would happen was the animal would fall off the buzzard's back, fall to the ground, and be killed, and the buzzard would eat him. But when the monkey got on the buzzard's back, the monkey said, this is the way it goes like this. I'll reset. He said, a buzzard took a monkey for a ride in the air. The monkey thought that everything was on the square. The buzzard tried to throw the monkey off his back. The monkey grabbed his neck and said, now listen, Jack. Straighten up and fly right. Straighten up and fly right. Cool down, Papa. Don't blow your top. What's the use of living? What's the use in jiving? Just straighten up and fly right. The buzzard told the monkey, you're choking me. Release your hold and I'll set you free. The monkey looked the buzzard right dead in the eye and said, your story is so touching, but it sounds just like a lie. And it's really a profound philosophical story because it says that you can always figure a way out. That no matter what it is, if you hold on, if you hold fast to your dreams, to your goals, to your plan, that there's always a way out. So let's look at this now. We're at the last Saturday of the fourth month of the year. And how does this statement, to straighten up and fly right, how does it apply to where we are right now? Think about this. We need to achieve the goals for this year based on where we are. So the idea of straighten up and fly right, let's break it down. The first part, straighten up. Now, what does that mean? Straighten up means to assess your situation. if we're on the GPS of life, straighten up is to look at two indicators. Number one, your destination. You know, when you get into your automobile and you program the GPS, the first thing it says is, give me the destination. Where do you want to go? And it must have a location. It is because once the GPS has a location where you are and a destination where you want to go, it is programmed to give you the path to get there, the best path to get there. In life, when we look at where we are right now, with 8 months and 4 days left to the year, we got to ask the question, what can I do to create a new ending for this year based on where I am? So first thing I think is to look at the destination. What were your goals for this year? What are your goals for this year? What were the goals that you set for yourself when the year started out? Let's ask an even deeper question. Did you have written goals for this year? Well, if you did not have written goals for this year, then you are in violation of spiritual principle. Spiritual principle says, write the vision, make it plain. Dr. Rogers said we have 249 days left in the year. Woo, you broke it down, Doc. Thanks so much. So if you do not have written goals, then the scripture says, the spiritual principle says, write the vision, make it plain. If you do not have written goals for this year, then that's the major part of the problem of where you are, of why you are where you are right now. So if you did not write your goals, that's like, you know, we all exist on the river of time. Our boat, our ship is on the river of time. And that's like our ship sitting there on the river of time with no destination. Where does the ship want to go? Have not a clue. Crank up the engine. Why? Let the crew start rowing. For what reason? In other words, if you don't have a goal, you don't stay still. The ship that is your life will be carried along by the rivers of time based on the prevailing thoughts, emotions, vibrations of that area and of that era. So number one, if you don't have written goals, that's a deal breaker. The scripture says, where there's no vision, the people perish. If you have no written goals, you will fail. Can you imagine a company without objectives? Can you imagine a company without a mission statement and an objective of how much money it wants to make this year or next year or projections of income? That company will fail. Well, life is like a company. It's just that a company is seeking profit, and life we're seeking happiness. So if we have no vision, we're going to perish. We'll never achieve any happiness. Some people say, well, I didn't write them down, but I have them in my head. Well, that's fine. Recite them right now. If you cannot recite your goals for this year instantly like that without thinking about it, and you haven't written them down, then there's no puzzle as to why and where you are right now. Lewis Carroll in Alice in Wonderland said something powerful. He said, if you don't know where you're going, any road will take you there. I'll say that again. If you don't know where you're going, any road will take you there. And so now at the end of this 4th month, we have some serious decisions to make, folks. If we have no goals, written or otherwise, then job number one is to make some new goals. You see, we can always create that ending. That's what Zig Ziglar said. And so if you want this year to be your year for success, look at the last 4 months. We'll deal with that. But at this point, where do you want to be by the end of the year? So write some SMART goals. We know in chapter 3 of the 12 Universal Laws of Success, the whole section on vision and goal setting, write some SMART goals. that you will be able to accomplish over the next 8 months. Specific goals, measurable goals, goals that you're actually setting in advance, realistic goals based on where you are, goals that cover a certain time period. So it's 8 months. And so right now, wherever you are and whatever's going on in your life, you need to write these goals down and take some time. We have what, 4 more days this month? Then what do you have to do to make a difference in your life? Clarify where you want to go and write it down. Some people have written their goals and they can't find them. If I say, well, where's your goal sheet? It's here somewhere. And many of us do that. We'll write our goals and we don't keep them in front of us. We don't read them over and over and over. So this idea of straighten up and fly right says straighten up needs, you need to know where you're going. And with 8 months left in the year, stop what you're doing and do an assessment. Set some new goals for yourself. Where do you want to be by the end of this year? Even if you didn't have any goals before, do it now. Because if you don't do it now, it will continue in this present way. If you don't fix it, it will stay broken. If you don't take charge of your life, somebody else will. So, job one, this weekend, this day, when we finish, revisit your goals, write them out in great detail. Write them and read them over and over and over. Once you've done that, once you're clear on your goals, then you can do step 2, which is really now to assess where you're at. Until you have goals of where you want to be, then where you're at doesn't really matter. So now that you have your goals, spend some time going through your present situation. I call it the Ben Franklin method. We say of review, setting up your Ben Franklin chart of listing all the things you've accomplished, all your victories this year. Even if you had no goals, the fact that you're still alive and here and viable means you've done something good. So don't beat yourself up. Look at the things that you did accomplish, all of your successes. Make a list of the things you accomplished, the things you did, the things you're proud of. We call it your victories. And then on the other side of that paper, write your lessons, the things that did not work, the things that you have learned from going through this particular experience. Start listing the things that that you will not do again. And as you begin to do that, you realize this. If you have more victories than lessons, then you can do some minor changes to make this year work out for you. If you have more lessons than victories, then you need to do a checkup from the neck up. You need to make drastic change. And so look at the things that bring you where you are. You are where you are because of your thoughts, your emotions, your actions, and your relationships. And so from this moment on, once you've decided what you want to be, do, and have this year, and once you've written it down, then start looking at the thoughts. Are you a possibility thinker or are you a limitation thinker? Are you spending your time thinking about what you don't have or thinking about what you could have? What are your emotions? Are you operating from the point of faith or from a point of fear? It's amazing when we're fearful of going broke, when we're fearful of not having enough money, when we're fearful about our health. The scripture in Job says, the things that I fear have come upon me. So whatever you're fearful of, you set out the vibration to attract into your space. What actions do you want to do more of? And what actions do you never want to do again? What relationships do you want to end? And what relationships do you want to encourage? This is critical to do right now because the people who are with you, many of the people who've come this far with you can't go the rest of the journey. That doesn't mean you don't love them. It just means that they can't go for this portion of your journey. Trust me, when you limit their access, when you set them aside, when you get where you want to go, they will take ownership. They'll be the first to say, "Man, I helped you get there." I remember when Dawn was speaking on the Success Mastermind group. Now she's up speaking before thousands of people. I remember that. Yeah, she's my friend. So this thought now of really this reassessment says, now, what do you want to do more of? What do you want to not do? What are the lessons learned? And even more importantly, what will your life look like if you achieve your goals? You see, the more meat we can put to the vision of how we want our life to look, the more energy we create to attract that very life into our experience. And then on the other side, to sort of scare yourself, what will your life look like if you keep doing what you're doing? If you keep not having enough? If you keep, what's the word? If you keep being $1 down and $1 short, a minute late and $1 short, what will that life look like? And so that's critical. But once you've made this decision now, all right, I've assessed my situation. The straighten up part, I'm done. I know where I want to go. I know where I'm at. I know what I need to do. Now fly right. Fly right. There's 7 keys to flying right. Number 1, you got to take responsibility. You see, you are the captain of your ship, whether you like it or not. So you have to take responsibility for achieving the goals that you say you want to achieve. That once you take responsibility for it, and you say, if it's to be, it's up to me, then step 2 is you have to be willing to make the changes necessary. Be willing to change your life completely. Because if you're not happy with where you are, then that's proof positive that whatever you're doing is not working. Once you're willing to change your life completely, you can do some incredible things. There's a nice section in the book that talks about this. And it says to be willing to change your life completely. Make your life consistent with your goals and your desired success. If there's anything in the way you think or feel about yourself that will frustrate your success efforts, handle them immediately. Do whatever it takes for as long as it takes. Once you make that decision that I'm willing to do whatever it takes, then that changes the game. Because that's saying nothing will stop you. The third key is to be self-motivated. Nobody's come and wake you up to come down to the bank to get some money. You have to be able to ring your own bell. Over these next 8 months, you can't depend on anybody to motivate you. You better be self-motivated. That whatever your dreams are, whatever your goals are for this year, you need to be so excited about them that nothing can stop you. So excited about it that you'll work day and night. So excited about it, you'll get up and write at 5 o'clock in the morning. One of our people, Herman Taylor, was saying once he made his decision to write his book, he was working a full-time job, and the only way he could do it was to get up at 5 a.m. in the morning and work on that book every day. So you have to be self-motivated to get yourself going, get up and going each and every day. The fourth key, you got to be self-determined. And self-determined means really that you have to be constant in your efforts. Determination and self-discipline go hand in hand. If you don't have self-discipline, you will probably not be as successful as you could be. Self-discipline is the bridge between thought and accomplishment. So over these next 8 months, you must be self-disciplined, self-determined, and committed to do whatever it takes for as long as it takes to get it done. You see how important it is now to have that goal? that you recite over and over? Because if it's not clear, you'll never develop the desire strong enough to get it. Step 5. Now, this is a biggie, folks. You got to be self-functional. You know, everything comes down to what you do, the actions you take. And when I say self-functional, there's some keys to being self-functional. Number one, you got to follow what we call the 3 B's. That means you got to live by the book. You have to operate from a written planner. Now, there are those of you who can do it on your phones, on the computer, whatever it is, but it has got to be written. You have to operate. B1 is by the book, so that you have a written record of your progress and the things that you do each day along the way. By the clock, which means that every day, from moment to moment, you ask yourself, what is the best use of my time right now when I consider my goals, my vision, and my purpose? And you have to live by the calendar. And by the calendar means to understand the big picture, that there's seasons, that there's cycles, and that everything you do is in terms of these cycles. If you're a farmer, you don't plant in the winter. Okay. If you're a skier, you don't ski in the summer. So the idea is once you understand the calendar, the cycles, then you can interpret that and use it in your book, in your living by your planner. You ask yourself moment to moment the best use of my time, so you're always on target, and then you understand the cycle. So the 3 B's. You must develop a daily method of operation. The battle is a daily battle. The interesting thing about life is that it happens every day. You never get a break from life. There's never a point where you can say, look, I'm going to check out for a week. I'll be back next Sunday. And so you must have a daily method of operation that embodies certain powerful tools. Number one, a daily method of operation that says you plan your day the night before, a written plan of action. A daily method of operation that says not only would you make a list of the things that you do, that you will schedule them and put them in a time frame so that when you ask yourself that time question, you know what to do. You will read your goals 3 times a day. You know, of all the things that people say is required for success, the easiest one is to read your goals 3 times a day, to schedule a time during the day to read your goals. And that seems to be the hardest thing for people to do. How long does it take? 5 minutes a day. But if there's one thing that's most profound in your accomplishing what you want to do over these next 8 months, is to read your goal statement 3 times a day. I'll tell you my financial goals for this year. My financial goal for this year is to make $10 million. Now, you know, you ever notice sometimes when you tell somebody a goal like that, and they look at you and they go like, ain't no way. Ain't no way. Well, guess what? Your goal should be so big that it makes people feel that way. Many times we don't achieve our goals because the goals are not big enough. When you have small goals, then you get small results. But if you have a vision big enough and you create a vibration strong enough, you will literally suck into your space what's necessary to make that vision manifest. So read your goal statement over 3 times a day at scheduled times. You can read it 5. There's a reason why in some religions you pray 5 times a day. It's to maintain your connection to the subconscious and superconscious minds, which then gives you the ability to access the power of manifestation. over the day to execute your plan of action in accordance with your time schedule. If you do that each and every day, nothing is impossible. At the end of each day, to monitor your results. Before you write your plans for the next day, to monitor your results that you got today. Sometimes stuff happens. Things happen to pull you off track. Happens a lot. Okay? So when stuff happens, it's okay. Get back on track. When you monitor your progress, you always know what to do to rectify and clarify what must be done the next day. Step 6. You got to pick a crew. Surround yourself with the right people. You see, many times we have good ideas, good objectives, and we let the right people, the wrong people come into our space who don't believe in us, who undermine us. Whenever you have a contrary mental vibration in your space, it neutralizes and undermines your vibration. It's like when you have a big wave, even though a big wave may be coming in, if a smaller wave is coming from a different angle, a small wave can literally destroy a big wave. And so commit to surround yourself with people who love you, who uplift you. Get away from the crowd at the bottom. They will always love you. The crowd at the bottom will always love you. The greater your success, the more they will love you. But they can't help you get there. When you surround yourself with people who inspire you, who motivate you, who will help you, who have a big vision, then do whatever it takes to work with them. Many years ago, I had to learn something the hard way. A friend of mine was writing a book, and we'd gotten together. And he said, man, I like the way your mind works, Herb. He said, would you like to join me, write this book? I said, yeah. He said, I'll give you 30% of the writer's royalty. Like, fine. So I came back and thought about it, and I talked to someone, and he said, listen, we're going to go down to this particular island for a month and work together on this book. I'll cover all the expenses. Okay. I got back and I talked to the wrong person. And the wrong person said to me, he's not going to pay you? You're going to be there for a whole month? I'm like, yeah. And he's not going to pay you for your time? And it got me thinking. I'm like, wow, yeah. So I'll never forget, I told him, I said, listen, I said, I want to do this, but, I'm making good money now. You need to pay me 10 grand and I'll be there. And he looked at me, he said, it ain't that kind of party. He said, if you don't believe in the project enough to work at it based on the success of the project, if you need to be paid up front, then you're the wrong guy. And he went on, and that book sold over 2 million copies. Okay. Was I unhappy? Hey, and thank goodness we're still friends. If I ever get that opportunity again, well, at this point, I've had it a few times. And that's what I'm saying is when you get the right people around you, they can take you places you've never been. So let me wrap up. We've gone a little over today because I really wanted to get this point home. This idea of straighten up and fly right can transform these next 8 months from just being another 8 months going by to being 8 months that can change your life. So number one, to reaffirm your goals. If you don't have them, write them down. If you have them, tweak them. If you've been working with them, hallelujah. But this day, today, this weekend, write your goals for this year, where you want to be, what you want to do, what you want to have by the end of this year. And do it in many areas, not just money. Do it in your personal goals, your family goals, your spiritual goals, your professional goals, your community goals. Number two, look at where you're at right now. Do that Ben Franklin checkup. from the neck up and from the heart down. You must be honest with yourself about where you are, because if you fool yourself, then there's a fool driving the car. So you got to straighten up. Then you got to fly right. You got to do what it takes to get where you want to go. Number one, take responsibility for your life. Take responsibility for the destination and for the location, and to do each and everything between the way, along the way, to get it done. You have that if it's to be, it's up to me attitude, and never look back. Number two, be willing to change your life completely. Change your thoughts to possibility thoughts. Change your emotions to faith and confidence. Change your actions to effectively getting things done, to do whatever must be done to the best of your ability. Change your relationships, people who uplift you and help you make it happen. Three, be self-motivated. Want your goals so badly that all you can do is think about them. All you can do is see them. You can taste them. You can smell them. You know what your life will be like when you get there. Four, be self-determined. That self-determination and that self-discipline is the key between your thoughts and your accomplishments. The man who lives without self-discipline will never achieve the possibilities for their existence. Number five, be self-functional. The three B's: live by the book, by the clock, by the calendar. Read your goals over at least 3 times a day at scheduled times. Plan your work the night before, scheduling the activities that must be done. Execute your plan on a moment-to-moment basis, always doing the thing that must be done, the best use of your time right now. Monitor your progress and make the necessary adjustments so that each day you get better and better. 6, pick the right crew. Surround yourself with people who uplift you, who believe you, who know more than you, and get away from the crowd at the bottom. And then finally, number 7 is this: to keep going and growing. It's an evolutionary process, folks. You're going to fall off the wagon at times. You'll hit holes in the road at times. People will disappoint you. But look at everything as a learning experience to help you be more, do more, and have more. And I say to this, if you can straighten up and fly right for these next 8 months, then nothing is impossible. Then you can be what you want to be, do what you want to do, and have anything you desire, always knowing that the best is yet to come. And so it is. Just take a deep breath. Let it out slowly. Thank you so much for being with us on Instagram, on Facebook. We appreciate your presence. We ask that you visit our website, herbertharris.com. Be sure to go to our special website and book a call with us to talk about your success. Visit the special 12uls.net website. Check it out. Let me know what you're thinking, some of the possibilities for your life, and I'll give you a 12 affirmations to live by poster and a wealth building in trying times audio that can change everything for you. Remember this: you can be what you want to be, do what you want to do, and have anything you desire, always knowing that the best is yet to come. And so it is.